and the book is A Nest for Celeste. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
I received a copy of this book, and my heart melted. The photographs, well, the drawing, the illustrations took me back to my first books when I was a kid. They're wonderful.
Thank you very much. I'm glad your heart melted.
It did, and it's a keepsake. It's one of the books that you know you're going to have on your shelves forever, and you're going to pass down to generations. It's just fantastic.
I love you. I love you.
A story about art, inspiration, and the meaning of home. Tell us about the characters in the book.
Well, I guess the main character is a mouse. I love animal characters. Secondary characters are John James Audubon, the American painter, naturalist, and his 13-year-old assistant named Joseph Mason. And those characters based on real characters that lived in America back in the 1800s. And of course, Celeste and her friend, her animal friends, are characters that I made up. But I've always been an Audubon fan. I think he's just a real character and a real talent. Painting birds of America back in the 1800s was a big fantasy of mine. It would have been a great job. And of course, to have been his assistant would have been super. So it was a great basis for a story idea. Let's get from there.
So there's a little bit of you in the book?
Oh, I'd say so, yeah.
For those of us who love nature and love books about animals, it's a treasure. Now, when you were doing the illustrations, let me ask this question. For those who write and those who illustrate, do you work through the writing process first and then work on the illustrations? How does that go?
You know, I did these sort of simultaneously. So it's fun because you can, if you're drawing something, drawing a scene, you know what perhaps not to write about in the scene because you're showing it. And the other way around, you can write about things that aren't in the picture. So it's kind of a neat, if you're doing both the writing and the illustrations, it's neat to sort of blend them together as they're going. So I think that's how that one happened.
And why did you choose a mouse? You could have chosen any character at all.
Yeah, that's it. There are a lot of mice in literature, and I know that, but mice are so great. They're endearing to look at, for one thing. They're pocket size, which is handy. Their little teeny features and the hands and their toes, they're more nimble. They seem to be able to do more. A deer would have been a easy character to work with.
Yeah, that would have been tough to carry around in your pocket. Yeah.
Sweet like that, yeah. A deer in a pocket. This is nice. Yeah. Do a deer book.
This book actually is over 300 pages.
Yep.
Did you expect it to be this long?
No. But it's nice when a kid picks it up and they think they've got a nice hefty book and then they see all the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
It might just be a little more palatable, a little easier to get through. Not as scary. I was a reluctant reader when I was little, so this would have been a great one for me. I just wanted pictures and a good story too.
Right. When you're writing and you're looking for inspiration, who do you read?
I like reading nonfiction, adult nonfiction.
Oh, okay.
There are so many amazing stories that have happened in the history of the world that you couldn't make up. I like reading it. The history is really fun for me. I like that.
And do you read a lot about nature and wildlife, or?
I do. Yeah.
When you were doing the research for the book, did you study a lot about the National Audubon Society, or is this something that you always have been involved in?
Not so much the National Audubon Society, but certainly John James Audubon. Read lots of biographies of him, and also it was great fun to go to Oakley Plantation, Louisiana, and
Are there any traits about his life that you find particularly interesting?
Well, today where we go so many places so quickly, we get on a plane and we're in New York. We get on a plane, we're in Indonesia, just like that. And to think that Audubon walked so many places. I think he walked from Cincinnati, Ohio to Philadelphia a couple times. I mean, just
Oh,
walked there.
goodness.
Yeah, I know. It's like, okay, I'm going to walk to Philadelphia. Bye.
Wow.
Went through the woods. I mean, I love that part of it. It's so self-sufficient. What a character. He's just great.
That's pretty amazing.
It isn't.
I don't think that anyone would walk to the other side of town, let alone to.
I have friends who drive 2-3 blocks. Got to get in the car to drive that far. The thought of, say, I live in Fort Lauderdale in Virginia. The thought of saying, okay, I'm going to go walk to my house in Virginia. Bye. See you in a month.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, put the mouse in your pocket and off you go, right?
Right.
Do you sketch throughout the day, or when you're not writing, are you sketching? You keep a sketchbook with you?
I have it's actually, I am the least techno person that ever was. I actually have a clipboard with paper on it. It's not even a spiral notebook, it's a clipboard. I carry that around with me and my little pencil case, and then, yeah, you're exactly right, I'm sketching all the time.
And what types of things do you sketch? Are they people, buildings, trees, anything?
Mainly character sketches, because
Okay.
you have to come up with original characters for a story, so they're mainly just mostly animals, but character sketches, and getting expressions and emotions into their faces.
So do you start with an illustration and then build a character, or are you building a character and looking for some type of drawing to match?
The second one, I've started with a character and then put the character into a scene with arms, legs, and the movement.
When you were developing the character for the young boy, the assistant Joseph, did you pull ideas for him out of people that you know, out of your own desires to learn about this?
Great question, because I couldn't find any photo references for him, so I got the son of a good friend of mine to pose for me. So he's the Joseph character.
Oh, well, how much fun is that?
Yeah. Get your friends to pose for you and become characters in a book. That's fun for everybody,
Yeah, great. Talk a little bit about your training as an illustrator, because we have people who listen that are writers, poets, and they're getting started. Talk about the training and your early years.
Training. Actually, my mom had been a fashion illustrator in New York during the Depression, and it was tough going. So she always told us, don't go into art because it's a tough life, commercial art. And so I went into teaching, actually, and I've never had any formal art training. But I guess you'd say my training was always drawing. I mean, I've just been drawing ever since I was a little kid, so basically self-taught. A lot of the science projects I had in college were to draw life cycles or drawing life stages of aquatic insects or something. There was a lot of scientific illustration of that, but no formal art training per se.
And how did you find your career turning toward this?
Well, I taught elementary science at a great school just outside Washington, D.C., and we'd have wonderful authors and illustrators come to our school, and one of them I cornered one day. I don't know how I got the nerve to do it. But you can imagine the dry mouth and sweaty hands. I went up to her and asked her if she knew of an editor that I could send a book to. I had written and illustrated a little book about bats. So we did a bat unit in second grade, and she stared at me for a bit and then
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, but I think being in an elementary school for 17 years with kids was a really great. You gotta like your client. The client are kids,
Great.
and um, I think it was a good experience to work with them for so long. In fact, today I do many school visits during the year. I go to different schools, just like this author had done at our school years ago. Do school presentations and school visits to get kids interested in writing and drawing, creating.
And that was going to be my question. How do you stay connected to the kids? So you make visits.
To.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got to stay connected. They are who you're writing for. See?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're writing, illustrating, it can be very isolated because you're working on your own projects. You're in your studio working every day. So it's nice to get out and be with kids during the school year. I enjoy that a lot.
Well, I'm sure they do too. What has been their reaction to your characters in the books that you've created?
Oh, well, they love them.
Mm-hmm.
They love them. I'm so thrilled. I couldn't be more pleased about that.
That's great. And you're going to be reading today at 11 from A Nest for Celeste?
Yes. I'm not sure if I'm going to read it. I just might act it out. I might act something out today. I don't know. Or draw something. I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Will you be in a booth where people can come up and you'll make sketches of their...
Maybe so. I think that's a good idea.
You can go up and have your face sketched as a mouse or something like that.
Bats or a duck or a chicken.
Yeah. What a great souvenir. Who would have thought? Well, that's Henry Cole. The book is A Nest for Celeste. Thank you so much. Do you have a copy you want to hold up?
Oh my gosh, I just happen to have one.
Just happens to have. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it.
Thank you.
Show us some illustrations. Yes.
Yeah.
So it looks bulky, but it's not. It's not. It has so many illustrations.
It fits perfectly in your hand. I love it.
It's great.
Well designed. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Well done. Enjoy your day at the fair. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.